Scorpio, there are moments when life changes direction through something almost invisible. Around March 14th, 15th, 2026, a subtle current begins to move through your world, quiet yet unmistakably alive. The kind of moment where the air feels slightly different, as if a door somewhere just shifted open a few inches. Scorpio, you may sense it before you can describe it. A thought returning again and again, a feeling rising from somewhere deep inside, a message forming just beyond the edge of awareness. Energy like this rarely arrives with noise. It moves like a whisper, brushing across the surface of your intuition. Somewhere in these days, something begins to reveal itself. Perhaps a text appears at the exact moment your mind drifts toward someone. Perhaps a conversation unfolds that places a single word or sentence exactly where your heart needed it. A small opportunity might step quietly into view, carrying more meaning than it first appears to hold. Scorpio understands depth in ways few energies truly touch. Beneath ordinary moments, you sense layers, signals, patterns weaving together through time. Around March 14 and 15, those layers begin to align in a way that feels almost deliberate, as if the universe gently tilts the light so a certain truth becomes easier to see. Sometimes a shift begins with something incredibly simple, a realization arriving during a quiet morning, a piece of news that lands softly and yet stirs something powerful inside your chest. A single moment of clarity that spreads through your thoughts like sunlight moving across still water. And Scorpio, when clarity arrives, energy follows. Direction sharpens. Choices begin to feel different in your hands. A path that once felt distant begins to look strangely reachable, almost as if it had been forming beneath the surface for longer than anyone realized. The universe tends to communicate through moments like these. Small signals, gentle timing, coincidences that feel almost personal. For Scorpio, those signals carry a particular intensity because your intuition recognizes patterns long before the outer world fully reveals them. If you feel that something meaningful is beginning to shift for you as we approach March 14 or 15, take a moment and join the energy of this reading. Comment below, Scorpio, ready for the shift, 888. Because the quiet message arriving now holds layers worth exploring. And in the next part, we begin looking at the first sign that this energy has already started to move. Scorpio, sometimes clarity arrives with a quiet elegance, like a thin beam of light slipping through a curtain that had always remained slightly drawn. Around this moment in your journey, something begins to settle inside your awareness. A situation that once felt layered, complex, almost tangled in emotion, starts to reveal a simple and powerful center. For Scorpio, understanding often unfolds beneath the surface first. A feeling rises in the chest, a subtle recognition moving through your intuition before the mind fully catches up. Then suddenly, in a single breath of awareness, everything aligns into place, and the picture becomes clear. This kind of realization rarely announces itself loudly. It might arrive during a conversation that carries an unexpected sentence, a phrase that lingers in your thoughts long after the words fade. Or perhaps a sign appears at the exact moment your mind drifts toward a certain question, and something inside you quietly whispers, yes. Scorpio energy moves through depth and perception. You read between the lines, sensing meaning inside pauses, tones, small details that others overlook. Because of that, when clarity arrives for you, it carries a unique strength, a calm focus that spreads through your thoughts like still water settling after a ripple. There may come a moment where something simply clicks. A situation that once felt emotionally heavy suddenly reveals its pattern. A connection begins to make sense in a way it never did before. Even a memory might shift its meaning, offering a fresh perspective that brings a quiet sense of relief. Scorpio, this clarity brings more than understanding. it gathers your attention into one steady direction. Energy that once scattered across questions begins to collect into purpose, and that feeling creates a quiet power within you, the kind that sharpens your choices and guides your next step with surprising precision. You might notice your mind becoming calmer around certain decisions. Thoughts begin to organize themselves, almost as if your inner world has reached a moment of alignment. And from that place of inner order, action begins to feel natural, focused, alive with intention. Sometimes the universe opens a path simply by revealing the truth of a situation. Once that truth becomes visible, movement follows easily. Scorpio recognizes that sensation immediately, the feeling of standing on solid emotional ground after walking through uncertainty. Scorpio, think about a moment recently when something suddenly made sense in your life. If that moment resonates with you, share it below and comment, "Clarity is arriving, 111." Because clarity often acts as the first signal that deeper energy has already started shifting beneath the surface. And as we move closer to March 14th, 15, the atmosphere around Scorpio begins to reveal something even more intriguing. Scorpio, after a moment of clarity, something subtle begins to move beneath the surface of your life. Energy that once felt quiet or paused starts gathering momentum in ways that feel almost organic. Around March 14th, 15, a certain rhythm forms, as if the current beneath your path begins flowing in the same direction as your intention. For Scorpio, momentum rarely feels rushed. It rises slowly, like deep water beginning to shift after a long stillness. At first, it appears as a small sense of forward motion, a conversation moving more easily, an idea gaining shape, a situation that begins to breathe again. These moments often carry a calm strength. Scorpio senses the difference immediately because your intuition recognizes when life begins cooperating with your energy. Something that once required effort begins to unfold with a quiet sense of alignment, and that feeling brings a soft wave of hope. March 14 and 15 carry an interesting quality within this unfolding energy. The atmosphere around these days holds a kind of activation point, a moment when previous effort starts to translate into movement. Actions you took weeks or even months ago begin echoing back through your environment. Scorpio understands preparation on a deeper level than most people realize. Beneath every step you take lies a process of observation, patience, emotional awareness. Over time, that preparation builds a foundation strong enough to support something new. And when the timing aligns, the shift becomes visible. You might notice subtle changes in how situations respond to you. A door that once felt heavy begins opening with surprising ease. Conversations carry a new tone, one that feels more receptive, more curious, almost as if the world around you recognizes the quiet evolution taking place within Scorpio. This sense of movement creates a particular kind of inner stability. Instead of urgency, you feel a centered awareness growing stronger inside your chest. Each step begins to feel intentional, guided by something deeper than simple chance. Sometimes, momentum begins with a series of small confirmations. A message arrives at the right moment. An opportunity appears through an unexpected connection. A thought that once felt distant begins to feel possible, and Scorpio senses that gentle expansion of potential. When energy aligns with preparation, life begins responding differently. Effort transforms into motion, and motion invites new possibilities into the landscape of your path. Scorpio, you may feel this shift first as a quiet confidence, a sense that things are finally starting to move. Scorpio, many people sense a shift in the atmosphere before it fully unfolds. If that feeling has been stirring inside you recently, share it in the comments and write, "I feel the momentum, 777. Because as this energy continues building around March 14-15, another layer of experience begins to rise to the surface. And for Scorpio, that next layer often reveals itself through the heart, where emotional energy begins unfolding in ways that feel surprisingly powerful. Scorpio, when energy begins shifting in life, the heart often feels the movement before anything else becomes visible. Around this period, emotional space inside you starts opening in a deeper way, like a quiet door within your inner world slowly turning on its hinges. Something about connection begins to feel more present, more alive, as if an unspoken current has started flowing between you and another soul. For Scorpio, emotions carry layers that extend far beyond simple attraction. You sense intention, sincerity, the hidden language within someone's presence. And lately, a certain connection may begin revealing its deeper shape, almost like light gradually illuminating details that were always there beneath the surface. This could appear through a small moment, a conversation that feels unexpectedly honest, a glance that carries understanding without needing explanation. Scorpio recognizes these moments immediately because your emotional awareness naturally listens for the energy behind every word. There is a particular calm that comes when emotional truth begins rising into the open. Scorpio may notice a soft feeling of relief moving through the heart, as if something that once felt uncertain has started finding its place. That feeling creates space for something more genuine to grow. Perhaps someone begins showing their feelings more openly. Perhaps you notice your own heart responding with greater clarity, a quiet sense of trust expanding within you. Scorpio energy thrives in emotional authenticity, and when that authenticity appears, connection gains depth in ways that feel both intense and grounding. Sometimes the shift happens through courage, a few honest words shared at the right moment, a gesture that reveals care and presence. For Scorpio, emotional honesty carries a magnetic quality because it speaks directly to the depth you naturally seek in every meaningful relationship. This unfolding energy brings a sense of closeness that feels organic rather than forced. Conversations flow differently. Silence between two people carries comfort instead of uncertainty. Scorpio may begin sensing that a connection once surrounded by questions now carries a quiet but unmistakable resonance. Deep emotional bonds often begin exactly this way, with a feeling that something meaningful exists just beneath the visible surface. Scorpio understands that language instinctively. Your intuition listens for the subtle rhythm between hearts, the gentle pull that signals genuine connection. Scorpio, many powerful connections begin with a feeling that something meaningful exists beneath the surface. If you recognize that energy appearing in your life right now, share it in the comments and write Deep Connection Energy 222. Because as emotional clarity continues unfolding, another dimension of this shifting energy begins rising into view. And in the next part, Scorpio may notice how opportunity and recognition start appearing in ways that feel surprisingly well-timed. Scorpio, when emotional energy begins settling into clarity, the outside world often responds in quiet but meaningful ways. Opportunities start appearing almost naturally, as if the environment around you recognizes the shift taking place within. These moments rarely arrive with loud announcements. They tend to step forward gently, carrying a sense of timing that feels almost perfect. For Scorpio, recognition carries a unique weight. You invest time, attention, and emotional intelligence into what you build, often shaping your efforts with patience and depth. Over the past months, that steady investment has been forming something beneath the surface, layer by layer, choice by choice. Now a subtle turning point begins to appear. A project may gain new life through a conversation that feels unexpectedly aligned. Someone might notice the quality of your work, your insight, or the calm strength you bring into a situation. Scorpio energy tends to attract the attention of the right people once the foundation becomes strong enough. Sometimes the opportunity begins as a simple invitation. a collaboration that sparks curiosity, a new idea that suddenly feels achievable. Scorpio senses these openings instinctively because your awareness reads the energy behind them, measuring whether they resonate with your deeper direction. There is a quiet excitement that grows during these moments, a feeling that your path has started shifting into a new phase, one where effort and recognition begin moving in the same rhythm. Scorpio may notice confidence rising gently within the chest, like a steady flame becoming brighter with each breath. This kind of momentum carries the energy of accumulated value. Each step you took in the past months contributed something meaningful to your journey. Skills sharpened, understanding deepened, resilience strengthened. And now, the world begins reflecting that value back to you in subtle ways. For Scorpio, recognition often arrives through meaningful encounters. Someone may express appreciation for something you created. A new door may open through a conversation that feels almost synchronistic. These moments bring a quiet sense of movement, the awareness that your path has begun expanding. Scorpio, think about the effort you invested during the past months. If you feel that energy starting to return to you now, share your presence below and comment, "My effort brings results." 888. Because as opportunities begin appearing in the outer world, another transformation starts forming deeper within Scorpio. And the next chapter of this journey begins with an awakening that takes place inside your own perception of who you are becoming. Scorpio, somewhere along this path, a quieter transformation begins unfolding inside you. It appears through the way you see yourself now compared to who you were only a short time ago. Something within your perspective has shifted, like a mirror gently turning to reveal a deeper reflection. For Scorpio, inner awakening often arrives through lived experience rather than sudden realization. Each challenge, each emotional passage, each moment of reflection slowly shapes a stronger awareness. Over time, that awareness gathers into something steady, a calm sense of self. You may notice a different tone inside your thoughts lately. Decisions feel clearer, your instincts feel sharper, and the direction ahead carries a subtle sense of certainty. Scorpio energy naturally moves toward depth, and through that depth, you begin recognizing the strength that has been growing within you all along. This kind of confidence feels quiet, yet powerful. It moves through your posture, your words, even the way you hold space in conversations. Scorpio begins to stand within their own energy with a sense of grounded presence, as if your inner world has found its center. Sometimes this awakening appears through a simple realization, a moment when you suddenly understand how far your journey has brought you. Skills that once felt uncertain now feel natural, emotional strength feels rooted, and your path begins to reveal itself with a gentle but steady clarity. For Scorpio, maturity often comes through transformation. Each layer of experience refines your perception of what truly matters. That process shapes a deeper trust in your own choices, allowing you to move forward with a calm awareness of your direction. And once that trust begins settling into your heart, something interesting happens. Life around you starts responding differently, as if your confidence creates a frequency that invites new possibilities into your world. Scorpio senses this subtle shift almost immediately, the feeling that your path is becoming more aligned with who you are becoming. Scorpio, take a moment to notice how much strength you developed during your recent journey. If that realization resonates with you today, share your presence in the comments and write, "I trust my path." 333. Because when inner clarity grows strong enough, the universe often begins communicating through small signals and meaningful coincidences. And in the next part, Scorpio may start noticing the quiet signs and synchronicities appearing along the path ahead. Scorpio, when inner awareness deepens and momentum begins forming in your life, subtle signals often start appearing around you. These moments carry a quiet sense of mystery, as if the universe is gently weaving small threads of meaning through ordinary experiences. Scorpio tends to notice these patterns quickly because your intuition naturally listens beneath the surface of everyday life. One of the first signals many people notice during times like this appears through numbers. You glance at a clock and see the same sequence repeating: 11:11, 2:22, 7:77 on a receipt or timestamp. For Scorpio, these moments often create a pause in the mind, a brief feeling that something larger is moving quietly behind the scenes. Dreams can also begin carrying stronger impressions. A symbol appears during sleep that lingers long after the morning begins. Scorpio energy connects deeply with the subconscious world, so when dreams become vivid or emotionally resonant, they sometimes reflect movements already forming within your life path. Then there are encounters that arrive with an uncanny sense of timing. A conversation appears exactly when a certain thought has been circling in your mind. A piece of information surfaces through a friend, a book, or even a passing comment, and suddenly something inside you recognizes its importance. For Scorpio, these synchronicities feel less like coincidence and more like subtle alignment. Your awareness begins connecting the threads between moments, sensing a quiet conversation taking place between your intuition and the unfolding world around you. There is a certain wonder in these experiences, a feeling that life holds layers of meaning waiting to be noticed. Scorpio naturally moves through these layers with curiosity and depth, allowing intuition and logic to sit side by side, each strengthening the clarity of the other. When intuition begins speaking clearly, your decisions start flowing with a gentle sense of direction. Scorpio senses the rhythm of timing more easily, recognizing when a moment carries the right energy to step forward. Scorpio, many people begin noticing repeating numbers during periods of alignment. If numbers like this have been appearing in your life lately, share your experience in the comments and write, "I keep seeing 777. Because when these quiet signals begin appearing more frequently, they often point towards something meaningful unfolding in the background. And in the final part, we begin bringing all of these threads together to understand why this moment holds deeper significance for Scorpio. Scorpio, as this moment settles in, something within your journey begins to feel quieter and more complete. The clarity, the emotional depth, the subtle opportunities rising around you all seem to gather into a single feeling, a sense that life is slowly turning toward a new direction. Around March 14-15, 2026, this shift carries the energy of alignment, as if your path and your inner growth have finally begun moving in the same rhythm. For Scorpio, every transformation begins from within. The strength you developed, the awareness you gained, the choices you made along the way, all shaped the moment you stand in now. And when Scorpio recognizes that inner strength, the world around you often begins responding in ways that feel almost natural, like doors opening one by one along a quiet path. Scorpio, if this message resonates with the energy you feel around March 14-15, share your presence in the comments and write, "Scorpio stepping into a new chapter, 888. And if this reflection spoke to you, you are always welcome here. A gentle like, sharing this message with someone who might need it, or subscribing to continue exploring these energies simply keeps this space alive for the journey ahead. Scorpio, somewhere just beyond this moment, a new horizon waits patiently, unfolding step by step.